Are you looking for a super fun go tall strategy and villainous? Then this is the deck for you. Hello and welcome to the table, and today I'm going to be talking about Tarkin's Imperials, my dad's personal favorite villainous deck, and a super fun deck that I've been tweaking and tuning for a while now, and one of my personal favorite villainous decks to play, or at least be faced off against, because this deck is super fun to watch, because it's Grand Moff Tarkin, making all your Imperials get experience tokens pretty much every single turn for one resource on the front side, and the back side, he's not really that important because he's a 2/7 on attack giving experience token to another Imperial unit. All that matters is like, hey, I'm gonna suit up stuff more efficiently, so I mean, either kill Grand Moff Tarkin, which isn't that big of a threat, or go after my actual big threat that matters, that's gonna keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, this card is absolutely fun to, or this deck is super fun to play, the leader is super good, and let's talk about it. So, like I've already said, Grand Moff Tarkin is wanting to play Imperial units and make them super big. But in addition to that, this deck also wants to go super wide, and you can kind of tell that because there's 41 units in the deck, and so many of them cost like 3 or less resources. And basically, I'm just going to speedrun going through all of these various units that are super duper cheap. First off, we got Cell Block Guard, which is, God, I hate this card so much. It's a 3 resource, 3/3 Sentinel. I don't really need to explain why this card's good. Then there's Death Star Stormtrooper, 3 of. This card's great on turn 1 because, I mean, you can get a 4/2 on turn 1. That's pretty damn good. And we got Fifth Brother. In my personal opinion, the second best card in the deck. This is the second best card, maybe even the best card in the entire deck. Because if you can get this down on turn 1 and be able to suit it up or make it a bit bigger with the card that I'll be talking about here in a minute, this card's amazing. This card is absolutely amazing. One of the best, if not the best unit in the entire deck. Then we got First Legion Snowtrooper. This card's super good as well because early game it can just kind of like attack at the opponent's stuff, weaken their stuff, and make it a lot harder for them to kill your stuff. This card's super good. And there's also General Veers. This card's super good as well, giving your Imperial tokens a bit of a buff. And if you buff this thing along with your other Imperials, it's just super good. This card's way better than you would think. 3 of in the deck. And then we got, where's it at? Snowtrooper, or Seasoned Shoretrooper. This is, in my personal opinion, the only deck that can run this card and it doesn't suck. Because you can, like, basically in the mid game, when you got the Tarkin out and you have those 6 resources, this is an automatic 4/3 and it gets buffed to a 5/3. Or 5/4, sorry, for 2 resources. I mean, that's pretty good. This is the only deck that I think that this card can be run in where it's actually good. And this is an incredibly good card in the deck. Like, do not get me wrong, this is a great card. But then there's also Snowtrooper Lieutenant, another really solid unit in the deck, and another unit that can really only be run in this deck, because when played, you get to attack with another Imperial, or attack with a unit. If it's an Imperial, which all units in this deck are, it gets +2 power for the attack. It's so good and allows you to just rush down the opponent even better. And plus it's 2 resources. That's pretty awesome too. But then there's TIE Fighter. The classic TIE Fighter. I mean, similarly to the Death Star Stormtrooper, you can play this, suit it up with Tarkin, and you got a 3/2 space unit going into the second turn of the game. Super good card. But in addition to all of the units that just kind of rush down the opponent, you got all the stuff that kind of like suits up your stuff and makes it even better. Cards like General Tagge, which, I mean, can give it an experience token to up to 3 trooper units. You're not going to be able to get value out of this all the time, like the full value, but you're going to get more value out of this than you would think you would. So this card is really good in the deck and should definitely not be underestimated because in the early game it sucks, but if it does, then it's just easy resource target, but in the mid to late portions of the game, it can really put in some massive work in this rush down deck. But then there's also TIE Advanced. This card is what I was mentioning earlier. This is probably the best unit in the entire deck. 4 resource, 3/2 space unit. When played, give 2 experience tokens to another friendly Imperial unit. Now this card, in combination with any of the units, but especially Fifth Brother, is just insane. Like, the amount of damage that you can get out of TIE Advanced is just incredible. Plus, it's like, hey, now I got a 3/2 space unit. So it's just like, I got this, which, I mean, this is something that you're eventually going to have to kill, plus a super big, or now a super big or even bigger unit, maybe in space, maybe not in space, maybe on the ground, doesn't matter. Because this card's nuts. This card's nuts is what I'm trying to say. But then, getting into the late portions of the game, you still gotta have some amount of pressure to where you don't just fold, because your opponents are starting to build up these massive board states and these massive units of their own. You gotta have some as well. So you got 3 copies of ATST to fill that kind of role. The classic 6/7 Overwhelm for 6. This card's awesome. Plus, if you give it a couple of experience tokens with Tarkin, it makes it that much harder to kill. But then there's also, where's he at? The one of Emperor Palpatine. Now this card, I think pretty much any single villainous deck that has red in it should have Emperor Palpatine as a one of, because it's just so good. It's so good. I mean, it's a threatening body, 6/6 Overwhelm for 8, which is unfortunate, but you get to kind of like wipe out or at least deal a lot with a lot of your opponent's board, all with 1 card. It's awesome. But again, this is more of a rushdown deck, so you don't want to have like 3 copies of this card. But then there's also Ruthless Raider. This card is incredible. It's a 4/6. When played or defeated, you deal 2 damage to an enemy base and a unit. This card, if you can suit it up a bit, can just churn out so much value and deal so much damage, and just, this card's great. This card's so freaking good. But then we got some events to basically deal damage to the opponent's stuff and basically whittle down their board state so that Tarkin can have the time to build up this massive army, going wide and tall at the same time to be able to take out the opponent. So we got 3 copies of Force Choke, just 2 damage, or sometimes 1, get rid of the thing. Non-vehicle thing. This card can deal 5 damage for 1 resource, sometimes 2, and then make the unit's controller draw a card, which, I mean, that's not as big of a downside as you would think in Star Wars, because drawing cards isn't as big of a deal as you would think with you drawing 2 cards every turn, unless you're playing Han, but still. And then we got the classic 3 copies of Open Fire. This card's great because you deal 4 damage to a unit, no downsides for 3 resources. I mean, there's a reason that this card is run in competitive level decks. But then there's, of course, the 3 copies of Overwhelming Barrage, my personal favorite card in all of Star Wars Unlimited, besides Chirrut. But Overwhelming Barrage is great because you can make one of your big, powerful things that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger with Tarkin even bigger, and deal a bunch of damage and pretty much wipe out your opponent's entire board. So this card's absolutely great. Tarkin is absolutely great. Again, similarly to Chirrut, not the best deck, but I mean, it's a super fun budget deck, and it's definitely a unique take on villains and control, and it's a fun deck. It's a really fun deck is what I'm trying to say. And for those of you that are kind of wanting to get out of your comfort zone and venture into a new villains deck, or you're playing Heroic a lot and you want to venture into a fun villains deck, this is the perfect deck for you. But anyways, with all that aside, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. It's completely free, you won't regret it. And enjoy, everybody.